Good evening, fellow denizens of Azeroth. My name is Warrax. In this video, I'll be narrating over a recent Junkyard Mythic Plus key that I ran with two of my guildmates. This was done on my stream at mixer.com/Warrax. So this is a +2 key, as we've only begun trying to push keys casually in the past couple of weeks. I wanted to talk through this run, talk about the good things and the bad things that I did as the Blood DK tank, so that you can avoid these errors or maybe pick up a tip or two that allows you to improve your gameplay, even at low level keys. Or you just make you feel better about your own gameplay. It's up to you. So I don't ever actually show my talents throughout this particular run, but my talents are the standard dungeon build for Blood DKs. Heartbreaker, Hemostasis, Ossuary, Will in the Necropolis, Grip of the Dead, Bloodworms, and Bone Storm. In this case, it's only the one affix, so things like Sanguine, I don't need to worry about that with part of my talents, so I don't have to switch out things like Grip of the Dead for maybe Gore Fiend's Grasp, cooldown reduction. My essences are the Lucid Dream Major, as I like the on-demand rune regeneration. That helps make Blood Death Knight feel a little bit faster to me. For minor essences, I'm running Strife, Touch of the Everlasting, and Aegis of the Deep in the minor slots. The Azerite traits that I'm running, for Blood, they don't really matter, as Blood Death Knight traits don't have any real viable impact on the gameplay. It's kind of been the case for the whole expansion. So I won't go into great detail on those. So as we're getting this run started, I just wanted to take a quick moment again to say thank you guys for watching. I do want you to, if you'd like this, I do have other videos that are not narrated, that are kind of my opening foyer into video editing and learning how to do this process. You can follow the channel, of course, at Warrax Wow. On Mixer, of course, at mixer.com/Warrax. You can also find me on Twitter at Warrax_Wow, and on Instagram as well at Wisprunner, which is one of my other character names because I can't get Warrax as the name. So here we've pugged a Destruction Warlock and a Havoc Demon Hunter as our other two characters, and we're just making sure that we get some initial ready checks here. One thing I will say off the start that I need to be doing for future keys pushing is that I need to have consumables. Here I think the only thing I run is the Augment Rune, as I don't have any flask or potions to use for the purposes of pushing the key. So something to always keep in mind, at this low level it doesn't necessarily matter as much, but if you're trying to push into higher and higher keys, that will become important. So right now, as you can see by the fact that I have the map up, we are trying to determine our route on this. And I think ultimately we decide to start by going to King Gabamak. And so we're just getting that ready check started here in just a moment, and then we'll be going on. We're kind of talking about the fact that it's a tyrannical boss. And so at that point, Newall, who is our healer, you can see just to the left there, my guild barely above average on Ice Crown North America, basically saying, yeah, that's going to be fine. So we're just going to let this ready check go, and then we'll be diving into the instance here. So we decided we're going to head towards Gabamak first. As you can see, I'm kind of checking the pathing there. So I've actually never run this dungeon on Mythic Plus style. I've run it on Heroic, so I kind of know the routing in terms of the general approach, but I don't know exactly how it's going to change on like the Mythic Plus level. And you'll see where that comes into play a few times here. So one thing that I will actually say right off the start that I need to be doing better is that I'm not as liberal with Death Grip as I should be. So in this case, you'll see right here, they had some mobs come in and I wasn't quick to grab them. Or like right here, I could easily be pulling like that mob right there, or be pulling down the road and getting some of these other mobs to start joining up with me. And I don't do a good enough job of that. In this pack, you'll actually see that there's a mob right back there beating up on, I believe, our Warlock. And I don't grip him fast enough until right there. I'm very slow on that Death Grip. So Death Grip is a 20-second cooldown, I believe, for Blood Death Knight. And so it is something that I think you should be using a lot more liberally to help get the mobs into place. Another one here that gets a little wonky. You can see that mob in red right there. That shows that he does not have aggro on me. I need to be able to target switch and get him onto me a little bit better than I was. Some of it I think is that he has a wonky aggro table. He doesn't really target anyone. He just kind of randomly casts at people. And again here, Death Grip is a little slow on the guy in the back. The Demon Hunter is actually the one that goes and gets him before I finally realize what's going on. That said, we get a patrol ad, pick him up just fine, no issues there. So these pulls right before the boss I actually do think go pretty well for me as the tank. Overall, this is actually the first expansion that I've ever done tanking on a serious level. I'd done some Guardian Druid tanking back in Wrath of the Lich King when I last played before coming back with Battle for Azeroth. And I messed around a little bit with Death Knights in their earliest form in Wrath of the Lich King, but nothing that was too serious. So it's definitely something that I feel like I've gotten much better about throughout this entire expansion. And you can see here it starts off with really strong mob management, and we do a good job of having target priority as well. And these two packs right here, these two mobs right here up front, these are also going to be good. Use Death Grip there to try and aggro them without potentially aggroing the boss. So Pads, who is our warrior in this group and is also my guild mate, and I don't actually have, we don't announce kicks to each other who's going to be kicking first. We actually agreed before the dungeon that I will always take the first interrupt and he will always take the second. And in cases of multiple targets, I try to get the mob with lowest health first, and he takes the one with higher health. We do a good job there of doing that kick rotation. It's not always been perfect for us, and of course with the pugs, we can't. It's hard for us to talk them over. So we're less than 4 minutes into the dungeon, and we pull Goblin-Mac, which I think is pretty good. One thing I will mention here is that despite the fact that I am the tank, I am actually not in charge of kind of help determining the route. I'm still learning that side of Mythic Plus. Newall, who is our healer, is actually the one that's routing. You see, he actually calls for me to come over to this little pylon over here to kind of help with a little bit of damage and get everything bunched up a little bit more. He's also the one that generally helps with our boss strats. He's kind of our shot caller. Now, one thing I do in this fight actually that I don't do all that well, that I'm usually okay with, and that is managing cooldowns. So I popped Empowered Room up and off the start, but right here I'm about to take a big spike of damage, and I knew that I was going to take it. And what I should have done was popped Vampiric Blood right before I did that, but as you can see, because I stay roughly 75% health, I blow Vampiric Blood when the boss has only got 5% health remaining. I waste 6 or 7 seconds of Vampiric Blood uptime as a result, so a little bit of a mismanaged cooldown. It ultimately doesn't come back to hurt me, but just something that I kind of realized watching back that is going to be an issue if I don't kind of pay attention to it moving forward. So this pull before Bondo's Yard is actually the route that we were playing. I was anticipating that we were going to have to go to Bondo's Yard for the bosses there, but what I didn't consider was that HK started above Gunker. We killed Goblin-Mac. There was no other place that he was going to go. In reality, what we probably should have done was start over. Well, actually, I think this routing probably ultimately was correct, but we probably should have started Gunker and then gone, or not started Gunker, but started Bondo's, then gone to Goblin-Mac and then Gunker. But I think ultimately this route was probably the best choice. This is just where inexperience comes in. I should have seen that he was going to go to Bondo's Yard as a second sort of patrol, but I just kind of failed to have that foresight in this. So one thing that you see with a lot of high-level tanks is that they will actually start running away from the pack when it's about to die so they can get ready to start pulling the second one. I have not been very good with this throughout the expansion, with the exception of a couple dungeons that I've run a few times, and you start to see signs of it there. Right here, we pull this quick pack of 3. Demon Hunter gets in there, does his thing, and we are actually really fast to actually kill this pack. Actually, we do a good job with it because we have 2 very strong AoE classes in Demon Hunter and Arms Warrior. You can see right there I start taking off, and I pop Death's Advance so that I can pull this first monstrosity. It is something that I have been improving on in dungeons that I'm comfortable running, places like Freehold, a little bit of Tol Dagor, Atal Dazar, and actually Caesar Borealis, because I ran that heroic probably 8 times, trying to get a weapon that I wanted for my Ret Paladin actually. And like I said, here I've only run this dungeon I guess 2 or 3 times. This pull right here, we actually don't do a good job of managing aggro. So what happens is that I'm trying to pull 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 mobs all at once and pull the second monstrosity, but or not here, but I'm coming here shortly. But I don't actually get aggro on everything like I should because the DPS starts taking it down. So just a little bit of a sort of mismanagement of mobs on our side of things, but you know, is what it is. We have 38 minutes to do this dungeon, so the timer is extremely friendly in Junkyard to time the key. So right here I go to grab this guy right here, but he's already been aggroed by the warrior, so I stop, and what I probably should have done was just gripped and pulled him, but instead what I did is I just tried to get aggro by taunting and gripping him over, letting the blob go, which I should have taunted right here, but I didn't, and then going out and grabbing this elemental that was on the right side there, the blob in the middle, and the monstrosity, but I take the path around all of it, and I shouldn't have done that there, because as you can see our trash count is actually pretty low at only I think 47% right now, and so having those 2 to 3 extra mobs can help just add that little bit of percentage there. That's the other thing that all 3 of us in our guild are still learning and working on, is managing trash counts. In places like Freehold and Atal Dazar, we always go over. A place like this, we actually ended up going under because of the way the dungeon ran for us here. So we get all 3 sanitation bots released, and now we are moving over to Gunker. This boss is a Clown Fiesta. So this is actually where I was a little bit arrogant and did not actually bother to look up strats for mythic level bosses. And so you're going to see how much this makes this boss fight become just an absolute conga line of silliness. It just never stops. With this boss, of course, you have to stay around these sanitation bots so that you end up not getting stuck in basically a hard shell goop. And I never do that. As you can see, like, there's a sanitation bot there in the right there on the right side of the screen by the timer, and Pads and I both there, and we just failed to adapt. And you can see how this is going to just impact this boss fight in a very, very bad way for us. Cost us, I think, 2 deaths here was the total amount. Luckily, our Demon Hunter was very, very good. He was a very good player. I quite enjoyed having him in this party. And he ends up being like the saving grace in this fight for us. It's kind of insane. Yeah, like right here, I should have stayed in the sanitation bot, and I didn't. And I got gooped. And I'm going to stay in it for a very long time as a result, because they're trying to save our healer first, which is fair. I'm just going to let you watch this and just see how badly this goes. This Pads breaks me out of this goop, but gets gooped himself. So I try to break our Demon Hunter out of his, get Newall out of his. Pads dies at his goop. The Demon Hunter ends up surviving. I think he uses Metamorphosis here because he just gets all sorts of crazy leech and heal over time effects from Newall, to where his health ends up being full health. Newall tends to allow me to manage my own health pool as much as possible. From my experience playing with him, he'll be able to tell you better than I. But a lot of the times, if he sees that I have some runic power, or if I tell him I'm good, I'm okay, then he's just going to focus on healing anyone else and let my Death Strikes do the work. So right here, of course, I get broken out right at the end of this boss, just long enough that I'm able to go. And of course, again, I never adapt, and I get gooped another time as a result. So yeah, just bad work all around. We lose Pads, we lose our Warlock, as Pads gets battle res right at the end. Probably a misused battle res, but ideally we're okay. We don't need to use it again. And I think I explained here in the chat that I was like, that was not great. Like I said, our very good Demon Hunter carried us pretty hard throughout that fight, so shout outs to Canadian WoW for carrying us. So this is actually where I pick up that we're very low and probably pretty behind in trash percentage. So we're moving on to Bondos, And I make what I think actually is a few extra pulls, but ends up actually being, I guess, correct when you look at some of the MDI strats that are happening for this. Actually, I don't think we pulled enough in Bondos. So one thing I do well here is kind of avoiding the mechanics of pulling them out. I like to have a smoke bomb that drops right about here, and I'm able to quickly get the mob out, kind of recognizing what's going on, and then getting the other one to kind of come out with me as well, so that way we don't lose damage. So right here I should be moving. I've got Death and Decay down, I should be moving into the art, and I didn't do that. So something for any tanks out there, particularly the low mobility tanks. You're talking Death Knight and Demon Hunter, or not Demon Hunter, Paladin. Because you don't have great mobility versus, say, a Demon Hunter, Prout Warrior, or Brewmaster Monk, it's going to be a situation where you need to be moving out further. And like you see, I do that right here, okay. But I grab this pack and I grab the pack around the corner. Right about now is when I grab them. There you go. Somebody grabs them. This is a pack that we probably should have pulled earlier. As you can see, I death strike myself up pretty much to full health, so Newell's not focusing me at all. And I told him I got multiple death strikes. I think I mentioned that during the run. I saw my health get to 50%, and I said I'm okay. I think it was like I'm okay. I got room power. So again, should be pulling away right here, because there's a patrol in the middle of this yard that I missed completely, and it ends up coming back to bite us a little bit with the boss. This is where I make a bad decision. I decided I wanted to pull him into that corner, but what I should have done is we should have gone around and grabbed the rest of Bondo's yards so that we could get some good trash going and maybe pull them on top of the bosses. With an Arms Warrior and a Havoc Demon Hunter, even with I don't know if the Destruction Warlock had his Infernal, but if I could have pulled all of that, that would have been basically an impetus to blow all of our cooldowns. Here I use Gore Fiends, probably misused that a little bit, but we end up having a very, very clean fight on this, believe it or not. Just those two going down here, we quickly blow up. I don't remember these guys' names, but we blow up the male. And there's the Infernal from the Destruction Warlock. I don't know if he's running vision or if he just had it, but he's been focusing the Lady Gnome the entire time, which is good. It's kind of splitting our damage. Now these bosses, they do get a buff when you kill one before the other, so you like to kill them as close to equal as possible, but at this level, it's not that big of a deal, and even at the MDI level, you don't see guys running it all that often. So right here I make an executive decision as the tank. Newell's trying to get us to pull some more trash. I'm only going to pull a little bit more before making the decision to go straight for the HK unit. As we wait for the pylon to officially break, we grab a couple of these mobs here. Just grab that again. Right now I should be moving. And I didn't. Probably because we were waiting for the roleplay to play out. So I make a decision here. I know there's a big pack here on the left that we want to go. This pull is kind of dangerous. Normally we would avoid doing it, but considering the circumstances and where we find ourselves with the trash mobs, I should have pulled all of this. I should have grabbed those three back there as well. It would have saved us a little bit of time with the post-boss trash that we ended up killing. But this trash outside of this pull where we get the dangerous part here with the rapid fire all taken care of, we do a pretty good job moving around it. The rest of this trash is actually really straightforward, really simple. So right there they're telling me, hey, go there, but I get this patrol right here real quick, and I know that these guys aren't going to be able to move all that well, which is why I don't run up and pull the other group, although in reality we probably could have. So there I tried to pull the guy on the robot, forgetting that he can't be gripped while he's doing rapid fire, so that's a little bit of a mistake on my part. I think Newell's saying here, go to the right, and I tell him no, we're just going to go take care of the boss and we'll do the trash after, because I wanted to get the boss taken care of. So this pull actually goes, again, really, really well for us. We do a good job avoiding the rapid fire from that as he gets enlarged, but it's really no penalty at all. Pads end up taking the majority of the damage because he's somehow the master of doing that. Shout out to Pads. So I just make the decision we're going to go do the boss real quick. We're just going to finish this up. Plus, I kind of want to get up there before my Scourge pops, and I managed to get it just in the right place. Here, a little bit of a mistake as we don't overlap the Death and Decay with Efflorescence. That way we could kind of maximize the efficiency of the heal that Newell dropped, while also maximizing the damage. You can see there I try to do a little bit better with it as we avoid this Cannon Blast. Our damage here is actually really, really solid again. You can see that Demon Hunter and Canadian Demon Hunter and Pads both are doing a lot here. So I just try to get these guys slowed down before we go over to the Annihilation Ray. I blow AMS just to help with the electrical damage. So this, for anyone that's not aware, you have to avoid this. You can actually jump over these things, as I found out today. And this run is from about a week and a half ago. And you'll see right here, Pads and I get a little bit unlucky at the very top of this. Right here. So we both get just a little unlucky getting clipped through. But I've actually discovered better ways to handle this, at least from Pat's perspective. He can heroic leap from one platform to the next and just skip all this. And then I also found out that as a Demon Hunter, for example, you can double jump over the ones around it. Here we get going, we get the Overcharge Ray, get it taken care of pretty solidly, and then go from there. If it didn't take so long, I almost wonder if we should just send the tank and the healer up here, and then have the damage dealers be there ready to go. And we do manage to go ahead and time this, even though it's a tyrannical boss. We do manage to get this done before he goes back up and back into the Annihilation Ray phase, because I think you only have 30 seconds or so to do that. So we finish up the boss. As you can see, we only have about 9% trash left, so I'm going to head out and immediately turn to the left, and we're just going to pull everything in the section, and that'll finish our trash count. But that's pretty much the run here. Again, here I should have just pulled everything early, gotten it done, but it is what it is. Overall, according to Radar, in fact, we felt it was actually our worst run. We had a Taldazar, Freehold, and a Siege of Borealis run that we actually all felt was better. But according to Radar IO, this was actually our second best run in terms of IO score, which is kind of weird. But definitely a lot of things that we could work to improve on. Definitely some things that we did well that we should continue to do. But that's the end of the run, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review of my own run. I definitely see things that I could do well, and with general management and my cooldown management was overall okay. There's also a lot of things to work on and improve for the next run into Junkyard, or any other dungeon for that matter. My next video is actually going to be a Toldagor +2 run that we did. It may not be narrated, but if you'd like this type of content from me, definitely let me know in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to see about doing narration over the Toldagor run as well. Otherwise, it'll probably just be music in the background so that you can get some just straight gameplay from me. So again, I appreciate you guys watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, just help me out getting this channel started. This new passion project of mine of streaming and video and content creation. Catch me on Mixer at mixer.com/Warrax. Again, at Twitter at Warrax_wow, and on Instagram at Wisprunner. I do want to say thank you guys very much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we're just going to let this video play out with a little bit of music to end our day.